we have the Julian versus the Pinyin system. These are each different systems that are used in China and Taiwan, respectively, to teach people how to write the Chinese language. So where am I? So in the Pinyin system, right? This was a relatively new system. Both of them are relatively new. Where we use the Roman alphabet to display characters. Okay, I'm gonna write my Bing Shui name here. In simplified, because it's China, we use simplified.
What did you just write?
I wrote my name, Wu Lan.
Okay.
And then over here on the traditional side, my stroke order is not that great. This is my Chinese name. If I were to write it in Taiwan, that's how I write it. If I write it in China, that's how I write it. So, going back to ancient times, this is where your characters will mainly fall in this traditional system. It's only until we get into like the 1940s and 50s we see the simplified characters because of Mao Zedong and his efforts to increase literacy among the farmer population that were previously illiterate. And he thought that simplifying a lot of the common characters that were more difficult to write like this would help increase the literacy. Because this is easier to write. This takes me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strokes rather than all of this. So this is what they used before the Cultural Revolution, right? And then we have this here. So let's go back to Juyin versus Pinyin. So this is also, you could also consider this the simplified side, and then the traditional side. Well, my handwriting's not very good with that. Okay, Taiwan, China. Okay, another way that my friend told me how to go between the simplified and traditional is if we look at the word heart. I forgot how to write it, but he said that in the traditional side it had, or love, right? It had the word heart in it. But on the other side, where China redid all the characters, they took out the symbol for heart in the word love. So that's kind of interesting to think about there. I wish I could write it, but I forgot. That was not part of my vocab this week. So going back to Pinyin versus Juyin. So back in the 1980s, when all the computers were coming about, they're asking, how is China going to compete on a global scale if we can't even type? So we had a bunch of different types of keyboards to type Mandarin. So there's the Pinyin version. So if I were to write that, so we have, you use your Roman alphabet to do that, right? If I were to write Yi Hao, well, I forget my tone marks all the time. This is an example of Pinyin here, right? And that's how they use it on the QWERTY keyboard. You can easily type this with our keyboards that we have here in the States.
I just put N-I space H-A-O.
Yeah, let me bring my phone here, because I can type my Bing Shui on it. Okay, and you don't want me to show it? So, but there are thousands, possibly hundreds of things just for ni in any types of tones. So if I were to type it here, you get a bunch of different variations of ni. You see this ni here that is shown up there, but we also see other ni's as well.
All those are ni?
Yeah, but different tones. Okay? Because, in Mandarin there are 4 different tones. But that's how you would type in this Pinyin system. And that's what allowed China to become advantageous and, allow them to compete on a global scale. You can also do that with traditional as well. I just have mine set to simplified because that's what we use in our Mandarin class here at Chino Hills High School. In the Juyin system, I'm going to have to pull up a visual, but they made essentially a type of different alphabet to type different characters, which are different types of, it's kind of like, I would compare it to kind of the Japanese system of hiragana and katakana, where each character indicates a sound, and putting those little characters together. It's like the little phonics that we use here in the States as well. when we teach the children how to write and how to speak. It's kind of like sounding it out in their own type of way. Let me pull up a picture. It's also deemed the Bopomofo system because those are the first few letters that they have to write. Bopomofo. There's also the Sangjie system, which uses like different little radicals to write as well, but that's less commonly used. So if I bring up a picture of a Bopomofo keyboard, here you can see these are different characters that represent different sounds, right? So each one of these would represent a different type of sound here. Do you see? In comparison to using the Roman alphabet, which is, I think, more accessible for the Western world, but this is how they use to help.
You know what I
type.
learned today?
What did you learn?
Is Mao is responsible for the pinyin because he wanted the farmers to be more literate.
And this also helped. Well, that's more the simplified. If we look at here, this is what Mao wanted, right? He wanted it to be more simple and simplified for currently illiterate people to write, or previously illiterate people to write. Here is what it previously was. But then there's like, okay, we're gonna change this so it's easier to write. Okay? And then moving on to the Zhuyin system, what I showed you on that keyboard, that's the Zhuyin system. That's how they type in Taiwan. The Pinyin system, which is, I think, the way more commonly used one because even the foreign people, like from around the world, use this to type Mandarin as well, including myself and all my classmates there. I've never met someone here that's used the Zhuyin system to write because they're all in Taiwan. Okay.